Hey folks, welcome back to JavaScriptHours.com. Today on the stream we are continuing with some JavaScript. We did the first stream last week. We did a few things. So we did some, what should I say? We did some JS katas, and we also, what else did we do? We talked a bit about object destructuring as well as array destructuring, and we did through some examples. One of my buddies, Bogdan, was asking that question. We dove into that and did some examples of, destructuring, but also having like default values and some scenarios like where you might want to grab one piece of the array or grab the rest of the array in certain cases. Same thing with a object. You could say like, I want this property and this property, but the rest I want to group them all into some other object. And so that's what we got up to there. Today we are going to continue with some JS katas. I thought it would be fun to look over, like maybe do some katas in regards to sets and map, as well as there's probably some JS katas as well for object. That's what I'd like to get up to today. As always, the way I like to do this stream, it's only the second one, but I'll start doing some katas, and if folks have questions, that's awesome. If nobody does, don't sweat it. All right, so let's get to it. All right, I'm gonna switch to the coding view, and okay, we got arrays here. Okay, we got map, we got set, and there's also object literal, which we can start off with. Yeah, I thought we would go with object, and then we can move on over to map and then set, and then maybe explain some reasons why you might want to use the other ones. Map and set are, I don't know if they're from ES6 or, because like every year now there's like ECMAScript 2015, 2016, 2017, 2021, because it's 2021. Yeah, I can't remember what year they came out. Basically everything after, hey Christina, yeah, basically everything after 2015, it's newer JavaScript. I don't really, it's all melded together for me. I don't really know which year some things came out. Like I know like optional chaining, for example, I'm pretty sure it came out last year, or maybe it was the start of this year. It's like all blurry to me. I basically say new JavaScript stuff as a blanket statement. Yeah, so let's get to some katas. For folks who aren't aware of this site, there's a site called jskatas.org, and it allows you to do some katas. Now, the way the katas work is you can pick what you want to work on, like destructuring, map, for example. Like it's all grouped in different ways. And the way the katas work, I'll zoom this in one more time. The way the katas work is you need to pass unit tests. The way the tests are written is they're made to fail on purpose to begin with. And then the way you learn how these APIs work is by messing around with the katas. And I'm gonna drop something in my Slack for a second here. Give me 2 seconds. We'll go back to chatting view for a second here. Gonna let a few of my friends know that we are live. Should have done that before, but you know, that's the way it works. Hey, how's it going, Oscar? All right. Yeah, gonna drop something on my virtual coffee Slack. All right, that's good. Let's close that. All right, let's go back to coding view. Okay, yeah, like I was saying, I'm doing well, Oscar. Nice seeing you yesterday on Jonin's stream. We're gonna get started with some object katas. And like I was saying, the katas, the way they work is there's unit tests that are currently failing, and we need to get the test to pass, and that's how we learn how these things work. I got a nice shout out from the creator of JS katas yesterday or the day before, and he also made a funny comment. He's like, you're not supposed to touch the assert lines here, which are these, because that's what the test is. And I think in one of the katas I was doing, I think I modified it to say not or something. Anyways, that's like a hand slap for me. Anyways, all right, let's get to it. The other thing I'll mention about the katas is it tells you what we're working on, and then it tells you what you should be expecting. In this case here, The object literal allows for new shorthands with variables. The short version for XX is X. So, okay, that's fine. We want to assert here that short is equal to Y here. Okay, I'm not sure why it put an X here, but what we'll do here is this. I don't see where X is being set, but let me save this. Okay. Oh, sorry, it's set up here. The variables are set up here. Okay, yeah, got it. That's me not reading. Like you can see here, this is the shorthand. What this really is equivalent to is this. It's no longer necessary to do this if you're working with any kind of modern JavaScript. And you don't even need Babel for this. This has been, I mean, unless you're supporting Internet Explorer 11, which I don't, well, there probably is some people still, because I have worked at places where you're supporting a large corporation. It is possible that you might have to do that. Drop some fun emojis that you can play around with, and I dropped the instructions on how to use those. I think this is the first time Christina's checking out the stream, so you can have some fun moving those around. And my favorite is always hiding my alpaca. All right, that one worked there. Now in this case here, so we have X is 1, Y is 2. If we look at the short here again, so X is 1, and then Z does not exist. Okay, yeah. Hey, how's it going, Andrew? Yeah, so yeah, that's unfortunate. You have to still, but I remember this too because I worked at places where I worked in like a company where we were a Microsoft shop, and a lot of the companies we were working with had these big SharePoint applications, which means like the whole intranet at these offices, or these companies, sorry, they were still on, this was like in 2016, but there were some places still having to support like IE8, IE9, and it takes a long time to get these things through. I think even though they say IE11 is dead, like this year, I forget what, it's June something, or maybe it's already been marked as dead, there's definitely companies still using it because there's so many things that they can't move off of for some reason. All right, here we're gonna do a comparison again. We want to compare the short to the long here. In this case, I think all we really need to do is this. The Z was a arbitrary thing there they put in to throw things up, screw things up. And again, so shorthand XY is equivalent to X colon X, Y colon Y. And as I mentioned with the katas in the last stream, they start off easy and then they progressively get harder depending on what you move on to. And the goal of these two, one of the reasons why I started doing this stream too, is to get myself back into the habit of doing these katas. But hey, what's up, Kirk? So the other thing I would say is, like, as I mentioned at the start of the stream and the previous stream, I'm going to do katas, have fun chatting with everybody in the stream here. But if folks have a question or want to talk about something in regards to JavaScript, pop it in the chat and I will do my best to answer it. And if I can't, you know, maybe we can figure it out together. All right, cool. Now we're working with methods. It's like you have shorthand properties. You can do the same thing with functions as well. Because at the end of the day, pretty much everything is an object in JavaScript and everything is a property in the JavaScript, or it's like a hash table. It's the same idea, whether it's a function or a property. All right. Hey, how's it going, Nick? Thanks for popping by. All right. This one here, we're saying use the name, only use it as a key. What is going on here? This, I don't know what it is. I think they throw in things in there to trip you up. The pattern here so far is really whatever is on the right here in the assert, we want to have it in the shorthand. If it's a different key, this one here, a different key must be given explicitly like short. Okay, func, other key, func. Okay, I think for this, I would do this. I do other key, because other key is the property. It's getting assigned to function, but this should be equivalent. A different key must be given, the test fails. A different key must be given explicitly, like before ES6. Okay. Other key. I don't know if this is what they mean. Okay. I wonder why. Maybe, I guess maybe they were doing a check to... I'm not sure how that kata is written because it supports the modern syntax. Maybe under the hood they're doing something. I'm not sure. Okay, a different key must be given explicitly like before ES6. Yeah. Okay, I did do that, but I'm not sure why. Because, like, oh, yeah. Okay, sorry, that makes sense because... Okay, yeah, I get it. Sometimes it takes me a second to clue into these things. Yeah, so what's happening here is we have other key, but we do have to use... We can't use the shorthand because we have to assign it to func because in the longer version, which is on the right side of the assert here, we need to... It's getting set to func. We have to do the same thing. All right, that makes sense. All right, let's look at the next one. Inline functions can be written as object func. Yeah, okay. You don't need to actually say, like, for example, func : function and then the function. Let's take a peek at that. So this is I am inline short dot inline. Okay, yeah. Here all we need to do is like this. And oh, I see Todd's getting some movement in the on the right there. All right, if we do this, okay, why didn't it like that? Short object func. That looks good. What am I doing? Oh yeah, sorry. Would help if I return the value. All right, perfect. Okay, we're done with that kata. Again, we're getting warmed up. All right. For some folks that joined a little later before or after I started the stream, we're working with object katas today. Then we're also going to look at map and set, and it can talk a bit about like why you might want to use the newer ones too in some cases. Let's move over to map now. Map is like a hash table, but it's a different API. It's not like the base JavaScript object where you can say, you know, like property dot whatever. There's like, you can set properties, you can get properties, and you can also check if it has a property. And so we're gonna go through this now here, and let's see here. I'm gonna throw everybody off and throw everything over a bit. There we go. Got some wild stuff going on there. If you're wondering how I'm doing that super fast, I got a Stream Deck finally. It's a game changer. I used it on the dev stream yesterday, even though we had some technical difficulties at the beginning and Christina laughing super hard, but still an awesome stream with Gant Laborde. But the Stream Deck was super helpful, and I set up a bunch of things for... Okay, yeah, who is Todd? Todd is Todd Libby, Nick. He's accessibility specialist. He's a big fan of lobster. He's like always eating lobster rolls. I'm gonna go to his Twitter and I'll drop that in. And feel free to give Todd a follow. He's really solid with accessibility. Oh, okay, Christina's got it. Christina's doing the chat duties like we do on the dev stream. Have fun, Christina. What's going on here? Okay, cool. All right, let's go through some of these map katas. Oh, okay, that's cool, Nick. Yeah, he knows his stuff in regards to accessibility. Our coworker also, Suzanne Aitchison, is super awesome in regards to accessibility. Christina's playing with her Rubik's Cube. She tweeted out yesterday, she's trying to bring down the time. I don't know, when I was a kid, I was like, because I know there's patterns to it, and I have friends that are like big into Rubik's Cubes. Like, they've got some pretty crazy fast times, not like any of these champion Rubik's Cube people, but I remember as a kid, it's like I didn't learn the patterns. I'm like, man, why don't we take the stickers off and move them around? But I did enjoy the Rubik's Cube. It's just, I really should get into figuring out what the patterns are. Maybe we should do a stream on Rubik's Cube, Christina. Yeah, this is the 2020 Hacktoberfest. Dev2 sponsored it last year. Me and Christina were like super busy doing that last year. It was a lot of fun though. I'm looking forward to this year's. That should be a good one again. If you're interested, definitely check that out. There'll probably be posts going out on Dev2 in September about Hacktoberfest. All right, let's go here and see. Okay, we want to see what the type of a map is. In this case here, if you do type of, a lot of things in JavaScript, like you'll, for like a pretty sure, yeah, string gives you a type of string, Boolean will give you type of Boolean, and number is type number. But then when you hit stuff like, for example, even arrays, array will say the type is an object, and it looks like map is a type of function. These are things that I forget, and this is why the katas are helpful. Here it's pretty much guiding me, telling me if I look on the right, the assertion is saying something is equal to function, so it's a function. And it's a constructor, that makes sense. Okay, now let's look at here. Map provides a set to add a key value pair. Here we're saying some key, and I want to set a value here. The value we're trying to check here is it equal to values? I'm going to set the key value here to the literal string value. And then from here, we need to get that value. Again, like I was saying with, hey, Dan, I don't think Todd is here. Well, Lobster is here in spirit, I guess. Todd is on the screen currently. With the map, like I was saying before, it's not like an object in JavaScript. You can't say map.value to get the value string. You have to say map.get. So there's an accessor function. I'm going to say, I want to get the, oh, not the value, not the key value. I want to get the key called key. Now what's going to happen here is value is going to equal to this value string here, and it should pass. Perfect. Okay. Now, another thing that we can do here is, hey, how's it going, Seth? Thanks for dropping by, everybody. I appreciate the support and hope you're having some fun. Even if it's moving emojis on the screen, it's all good. Happy to have you here. All right, a map has a property function, and this is to check for the existence of a key. It doesn't check for the existence of the value. Here again, we're creating a map, and then we're going to set a key called key with a value called value. Now we're going to see, does the map have the key? What we're going to do here is we're going to say has, and then we'll say key. This should return true, and then this test should pass. Now, hey, the actual Todd Libby is here. All right, the lobster has summoned him. All right, this is amazing. Thanks for popping by, Todd. To give a quick shout out to Todd. He landed a new job at Nobility, right? I think he started about a month or a month and a half ago. A shout out to Todd, man. He was very persistent in finding the right job for him, and I'm like super stoked that he landed somewhere that he loves working at. All right. Okay. Now, so why would you want to use the has here? Well, there might be a scenario in your code where you're like, you don't want to do something with the value unless it exists. If you were using an object, you would probably do an existence check of the property, but map has the equivalent via the has method here. Maybe we have like, if this key exists, do some expensive operation or pull out some expensive value that's in the key maybe. The has is what allows you to do that. Okay, yeah, since April, yeah. Since April though, how many lobster rolls have you eaten, Todd? I'm gonna guess two a day for maybe 3 days a week. Quite a bit. Anyways, I gotta get down to Maine once the border opens again. It's really nice down there. Okay, there. Our has worked there. Now we're gonna look at a map, and it's iterable. You can do like go through the elements in there. You can iterate through them. It's saying a map is iterable. So we're creating a new map. And then we're setting two keys, key 1 and key 2, and they have string values of 1 and 2. Yeah, definitely a lot, definitely a lot. All right. It's saying hint, look at this kata, but I'm not going to for now. It's saying map as array, and then it's going to give you this. Okay, I think what we could do is, I think map has entries. I think is it entries? I know object has entries. Does it get entries? We'll find out in a second. Hey, how's it going, Courtney? Yeah, TDD bin is a open source project that it allows you to run unit tests on something. This is getting loaded up from this site called jskatas.org. I can't remember the name of the person. I want to say Martin, but let me check in my Twitter. He gave me a nice shout out the other day. Let's go in the notifications. I don't know why Frodo is showing up in my Twitter, but okay, where is it? It's a little humid here today. I'm actually having trouble scrolling on my trackpad. Where is it? I'll go on my polywork because I popped it there. No, I'm not trying to promote my polywork. It's just, this is quicker to get there. Oh, shoot. I'm not logged in. I'm in Chrome because I'm running a web captioner, so I'll go to my profile. Okay, there's Gant from yesterday if you want to check it out. Yeah, Wolfram is his name, or their name. I don't know their pronouns. Wolfram Creasing. They're the creator of JS Katas. It's super helpful, I find. I was saying on the first stream that I got out of the habit of doing the katas. I was doing it for a while and then, you know, got busy with work and got out of the habit of doing these. I will drop a resource though in the chat. I don't have search on my own site. Oh, there it is. I'm gonna drop this link in here. It mentions JS katas, but a bunch of other stuff. There's some free content in here, but there's also some paid content like Egghead and Front End Masters that I talk about that are great resources for the front end. I don't have affiliate links in there or anything. It's just, this is a list of stuff that I find super useful in front end stuff. There's also, since Todd's here, in terms of alley tools, there's this project from Khan Academy called Totally, and it's a tool to run accessibility like WebAIM, but they had it as a script, and when I didn't end up working there, but when I applied there, I actually put a pull request up and converted this into a browser extension. It's not in the Chrome or Firefox store, but if you go to the pull request that I have, it's in this blog post here. You can actually pull it down locally and load the extension unpacked if you want to. But WebAIM and the Axe tools are really great. Anyways, let me drop that in the chat. Okay, I already did. I am from the future or the past. I don't know what's going on. Whoops. What did I have for breakfast? It's like everything's a blur. All right, let's get back to some katas. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to remember what the API is for that. Let's see here. I'm gonna do this. This is me hacking the matrix. I'm not gonna open up VS Code for this. I'm gonna come in here and use this. So I'm gonna create a map, and then I'm gonna say, using the IntelliSense, what is it? Oh yeah, that's it. Oh, it's entries. Okay. Yeah. Okay, there we go. All right, let's try that. And then let's come back here. I knew it was something close to entries. I think for object, it's object dot entries, and then you pass in the object, and then it will give you the array. Let's run that. Okay, what's this saying? Assertion error. Deep. Okay, yeah, it doesn't equal. Okay, let's go back to the dev tools. I'm gonna figure it out. And then do this. Okay, that's the iterator. I wonder if I can do array.from. There we go. If you aren't aware, so there's things you can do. An iterator can be array-like. So what you can do is the array.from, but you could probably also just spread it. Yeah, you can do either. There's cases when these, if you're using TypeScript, sometimes it won't like it that you're spreading. And I remember the type checker was complaining, and so I had to use array.from instead of the spread, but either one should work. I like spread. Array.from is interesting if, I'll show you in a second here, but let's run this. Okay, that passes. I wanted to show what I was saying about entries here, or sorry, about the spread, or array.from. Man, I haven't had enough coffee this morning. Okay, we've got array.from here right now. Folks might not be aware, but there's actually a second argument here, and it's a function, and you can use this as a map function. So if you're ever doing like array.from You know, you might, after that, you might say, I want to map, and then, you know, do item, and then, I don't know, just, I'm going to make something up here, but do this, you know, and then it maps it. But what you can do instead is, instead of doing a map while you're doing the array from, you do it while it's creating the array. So you can say here, you can say item, and then here, obviously this is nothing super weird, but this saves you having to call map while you're doing the array.from, because it'll do it as it's pulling them out of the iterator or the iterable object. That's a little knowledge nugget. Okay, we got our entries, and it returns you. The other thing to note too is what it's returning here is the key value pairs, and they appear as tuples. There's the key name and then the value, and then that's one entry, and then it's an array of those. Yeah, so that's cool. All right, now let's go here. Complex types can be keys. This one's actually one of a very good reason that you might want to use a map. Objects only can take strings as keys. Like even if you put like the number 1, so like if we come here, I'm gonna say this, and I'll say 1 yo, and then I'm gonna to show the example here, it's only returning hello here, and that's because 1 and string 1 are equivalent, because everything gets coerced into a string. And that's why if we look here, for example, I'll give it a key. Let's do this. Key equals some object. It's an empty object, but then I'm gonna say the key, I'm using the shorthand here, the key is object, and then whoops, and then I'm gonna say 1 here. Now okay, yeah, okay, that's normal that it's doing that. What I have to do is I have to use the newer syntax, which is get the value of that. Now what you're going to see here now is the key is object, which is not super helpful, because in this scenario I only have 1 key. But if I was trying to use objects as keys, all of them would always be the same thing. Maps are kind of this on steroids. A map, you can have the key be literally anything. It could be a primitive, it could be an object, it can also be it's newer, but there's symbols. All those things can be used as keys, and this is super powerful. The key can be an object, which you can also access stuff out of that, but then that key also has a value. Anyway, some fun stuff. Let's look at this one. Complex types can be key. Object with a key of x and 1 as a value. We have this other object with the same thing. Okay, it's going to say map.set object, which is this complex type, i.e. an object, is the key, and the value is an empty string. Now, when we say map.set other object, and we're doing the same thing again, what's going to happen here now? Say we're saying, okay, the map has other object, and it's gonna say false. I'm guessing what they're asking us to do here, it's not clear to me, but I think what we need to do is remove the key value here, and then it's gonna say, does it have it? This katas, I find it's a little iffy, because I probably would have said, I don't know, maybe I would have maybe done something like this instead. As the creator of this project said, you're not supposed to change the assert. I'm doing this for demonstration purposes. I probably would have done something like this. That's passing right now, but I would have said true here to show the example that, okay, it's failing right now, but now if I say create a key which is a complex object, and then the value doesn't really matter, it could be, I was like saying like potato or YOLO, whatever. But here I think it conveys the point better. It's saying like, I can see if there's a key that is a complex type, and it should exist. Anyways, so that's one of the key takeaways about using a map. The key can literally be anything. And in fact, the key could even be a function, because at the end of the day, everything's an object in JavaScript too, or aside from the primitive types. But okay. So that's map. Let's take a peek at set now. Now, some folks might not be familiar with set depending on which programming languages you've used. I don't know when this came to JavaScript. Like I said, all the years, like all the ECMAScript years after like ES6 or ES 2015. Yeah, that's right, Andrew. The key can be a function as well. It literally can be anything. So, and to convey that, I'll show you. We'll do this in real time, hacking the matrix. Let's do, I'll say function YOLO, and then let's say return, whoops, YOLO. Okay, and then I'll say new map. And then I'll say a.set, and then we'll do YOLO, and then we'll say sup, Andrew. All right, cool. Now we can do a dot, like we were doing in the test there. A dot has YOLO, and we get true. There we go. Yeah, filter. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna get to that, Nick. Yeah, set is a great way to get unique values out of like an array, for example. So there might be a reason why you want to use the function as a key. You know, maybe there isn't, but the main point is like it can literally be anything. And set has a similar API to map, but the one main difference is a set is literally a set of keys. It's not, there's no values. The values are the keys themselves. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, like I've worked in C# before. These things existed in Java probably too, and a lot of other languages have this. Yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good. Don't worry about spoilers. As long as it's not spoilers of good movies or TV shows. Speaking of which, I'm excited to see the new Loki TV show. All right, this is probably something most of us have done at some point. We'd say like some key true, you know, other key false. I'm doing a trivial example, but like you want to see if something exists, but when you're using an object, the object keys have to have values. Like if I do like a dot some key, that's true. If I do a dot other key, it's false, or even the key not existing, other key. But the annoying thing about this is if it's really, you want to have this lookup of things, you really don't want to value the no, don't, why'd you tell us that, Kirk? Yeah, so but in the case of an object, you have to put this value with it, and that might not make sense in a lot of cases. People do it because that's the way an object works. You have to. So let's look at a set, for example, and we'll get to the katas in a minute, but I'll show you where this could, well, you know what, let's do the katas first and then I'll go through it. All right. Okay, set, again, like a map, the type of a set constructor is function. There's some easy ones here, and depending on it, you know, we get in the habit, but these things can get harder. Now we're here, every value in a set is unique. This is what Nick was mentioning in the stream chat. What happens here is if you add the same key twice, it only ever adds it once, and the last, well, if the key is literally the same, so it's not a question of the next one winning out, it's just there's only ever one. I'm not positive, but I would guess the last one added is the one that gets added to this set, but maybe there's a check like under the hood. If we do an add, maybe in the add function it actually does, you know, set dot has this key, and if it does, it returns it, or because actually I'm not sure if it's a good question. I can't remember if when we add things, if it returns the value or not. Let's check that. So, whoops, let's do this. A equals new set. A dot set, and then we'll say 1. What is it? New set. Oh, add. Okay, this is add. I've done this before too. Thank you, IntelliSense. It's add, not set. Map is set, but in here it's add. All right. Okay. let's see here. So we can see we've added it, but the add method itself doesn't return it. Okay, it's returning undefined, I guess. Okay, let's go back here. We're adding the key twice, and it's only going to have the one key because values in a set have to be unique. The check here is it's not really going to be 2 the actual size, it's 1. All right. This is what I was talking about in an object. The string 1 and the number 1 are 2 separate keys in a set. But if you were to do this in an object, they would both get set as a key that is a string of 1. If we do this, we add 1, and then we're going to do add 1 the string, and we run this, that passes. And this is really important to note. Object will coerce them. The key value is the key is the same, but in the case of a set, because the key, like a map, can literally be anything, that's why these are 2 items in here. Okay. Even not a number is equal to not a number. Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right, that one wasn't too tough. For some reason I thought, yeah, no, not, yeah, it's the same thing. I'm trying to remember which one. There's some method in regards to not a number, or I can't remember. It's like it returns a different object. I can't remember. Maybe I'm mistaken it. Anyways, okay, let's look here now. +0 and -0 are seen as equal. All right, +0 and 0. This is like one of those JavaScript things. Like I would probably never type +0. Yeah, that's what I'm confused about too, Nick. Let's actually check that. If we do not a number equal to, we're doing triple equal. Okay, see this is why I'm confused too. Okay, I wasn't wrong. They shouldn't equal. Why, when we do the key, is it different? Yeah, okay. I thought that's why I was like doubting myself. I'm not sure why when it's used as a key it's considered the same. I don't know if it. Okay, this is really interesting. I mean, this is not something, you know, like I'm gonna run into normally, but it is throwing me off because, like we can see here, not a number is 100% not equal to not a number. How is it when we do it here as a key? That is a good question to try and figure out the answer to. I honestly don't know. If anybody knows, that would be really great to find out. I don't know if do you think it is doing not a number to string, Dan? Because the keys of the set and maps, they can literally be anything. It doesn't get coerced to string.
For people who feel like they're downloading from the cosmos.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, exactly.
That's how it came out.
Let's see here.
Okay, great.
Yeah, to show what Nick was saying there.
But, you know, writing from a place
Yeah, because even though it's not a number, it's part of the number types. Yeah, if we do a set, yeah, I can do a set here if you want to, Andrew. So, and then we do a.add nan. Now I want to eat Indian food, anyways. So, a.add nan. Oh, yeah. So, all right, nan, and then again. Okay, so this is throwing me off. I don't know why it's considering it the same thing. Maybe. Yeah, I really don't know the answer to this. This is something I think I'm going to tweet out later, or if somebody else wants to tweet it out. Yeah, I have no answers as to why not a number when used as a key is considered the same. But as we can clearly see when we check in the console here, they're 100% not equal. I have no idea. All right. Like I said, if folks figure that out. Oh no, Dan's getting moderated by Streamlabs. This happens to Kirk when he's on my streams. He doesn't write super long things, but for some reason the bot at some point tries to silence him. I'm not sure why. Anyways, let's make it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Dan. AI has failed us today. Okay. This here again, like, I would never do +0 in my own code, but it makes sense. They're the same values. Those two should show up as being the same key. And then -0, it's a string. It's 100% a separate key. There should be 2 here, this is saying I want to get the values of the set. There's no entries here on a set because like we were saying, the keys are the values, so there's values. All right, in here we're gonna have +0, and we should also have, I'm hovering over that transpile, we should also have -0. If I run that, that should pass. Okay, that's cool. Now, the unary plus operator is weird. The plus character does too much already. Yeah, it's like I was saying, Nick, like I would never do this in my code. I don't even know why you would. Or even like -0, like if I do this, because that should still pass. I've never done either of those in like code. Like I've never literally written, you know, -0 is the value. If others have, let me know why you might have done that. But okay, I just wanted to mention what Nick was saying about the uniqueness. What you can do is, so we can do a new set here. Actually, I'm gonna pull up a blog post of mine. I am developer.javascript. You see, what was it? I can't remember the name of it. Tricks. Maybe that was it. It's on dev2 as well, but anyways, I can't remember where it is, but I'll do it in the browser. Okay, let's do a set. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's the thing. It was more about filling up the set because I'm trying to remember. Yeah, you can't pre-populate the sets. I think you can do, what was it? Oh yeah, you can do. Okay, yeah, you can pass in the array. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, to show this, so let's do here, like Nick is saying. And I'm gonna put an array in here with some obvious stuff here. And if I run this, you're gonna get an array with unique values. This is a super quick way to do this. I have a post on some tricks and stuff about this. I can't remember the name of the post, but anyways, this is a really quick way to get the unique values of an array. One thing to note though, this works well with primitive types like numbers and all that. But if you're trying to get unique values that are complex types, they have to be the same reference. For example, if I do b equals 1, I don't know, say yo, hi. These are horrible examples, but, and then let's create another one, and I'm gonna do literally the same thing. I'm gonna copy yo, hi. And this is in general in JavaScript, but it'll make it clear once we do this. If I do the new set again, and I come here, and I say a, and then I do C, we're gonna end up with why did it give me 3? Hold on a sec. Yo, okay, yeah, yo, and yeah, you see how, whoops, it's because I it's because I had set the thing already to A, B, oh, it's B and C, sorry. If I do this, okay, if I run this, you're gonna see it only returns 2 items. B and B are the same. Yeah, exactly, watch out doing it with objects, exactly, Nick. So the point I want to show here is B and B, it's the same reference to the object. C, even though it has the same property and value, it's a different reference. It's actually gonna, when you do the uniqueness, it's gonna give you 2 objects in the array. That's something to be mindful of. We also talked about this briefly when we were, was I showing, I think when we were talking about spreading stuff. Spreading is great when you want to get like a shallow clone of things, but if you want to get, if there's complex types in the thing you're spreading, you also need to spread those or do some kind of recursion to actually copy it. Or like we showed last week too, you could do a JSON.parse and then a JSON stringify of the object. But as Andrew noted last week, you lose all the functions and stuff on the object. But anyways, that's the caveat of complex types. Be mindful of that. Cool. All right. I think that's kind of all I was really thinking of doing today. We still got like 8 minutes here, so we can definitely look at some other stuff here. I won't do promises today. I think that'll be a good idea to do that on its own. But we could maybe look at the iterator, since we were talking about iterables before. So a little extra stuff here for today. Yeah, the array is a built-in iterable object. All right, now what we're going to do here, an array has an iterator, which is a function. We haven't talked about symbols yet. I'll probably explain symbols horribly. I know what they are, but I'm not in a good position to explain it super well, but they're unique, and I should probably read up a bit more to give a better explanation of that next time, and maybe we can talk about symbols in another stream. But so here it's saying the type of iterator is a function. No, yeah, it's iterator. Really? No. Yeah, it should be function, I believe. Yeah. Like a lot of things in JavaScript, it's either function or object. Like I was saying, array is even considered an object. There's the array.isArray method, but even that is not perfect, because if it's array-like, it will still, I believe, say that it's an array. So there's some other checks you can do. And stuff like Lodash or other similar libraries have like a more exhaustive check to ensure that something is an array. Anyways, that's something else. But okay, the way you used to go over stuff, my voice is cracking like I'm 13. That's great. A traditional way of looping through things is doing a for loop with an index and incrementing it. But with newer stuff in JavaScript, you can do the for of. I prefer this if it's available. Yes, I will definitely have a. You know what I'm gonna do, Todd, when I do get to Maine at some point, because I was there like 2 years ago, and obviously because of the borders closed at the moment. Whenever I get to Maine next time, we are definitely gonna go for a lobster roll, or I might eat a couple lobsters. We'll see. All right, here we're looping through the array, and the of gets the next value. You could use const here too, but I won't get into the whole let const thing. Yeah, for of is pretty neat. And there's also for in, and sometimes I get mixed up. And then when you use for in, like on an array, for example, it will return, I believe, the keys, which are the indices. And that always trips me up, but I see it once I do it, then I go, oh yeah, it's of. But I haven't had to use in too much. I know you can also use it on an individual, checking for an individual property, like for example, you could say navigator. What is it? You're checking for like a key in the navigator object, for example. For in keys or strings, like what? Yeah, the for in I haven't really used too much, but it is there as well. So part of the tool belt. So here, this isn't doing anything super like amazing right now. It's doing a count, and it's doing a negative count. We should end up with a count that is equal to the array length, but the negative. In our case, I think we want to do a plus plus, and if we run that, it passes. All right, the iterator protocol. Yeah, there's the next, and again, this is a way, when we're using this symbol, like I said, it's unique. This is used in other areas of JavaScript as well. This is saying, I want to get the array's iterator function, which is the key symbol.iterator. We get this iterator. I don't think I've seen this before, but what you can do here is we say we want to get the first item. Oh yeah, sorry, that's not, it's because I have to do this. We're gonna say iterator, I want to get the next item. What next does is it returns you an object with the value, and it also returns a property called done. If there's still items available in the iterator, done is going to be false. And in this case, we're getting the first item. Yeah, okay, array is set up here. I didn't see that. There's 3 items in the array, so we're going to say next, so it should return A, and it's not finished. So let's save that, and that passes. Now, let's do this. I'm gonna go off script for a sec, but gonna do this 1, 2, 3 times. Now this is gonna fail. It's gonna say the value's wrong, but the thing I want to show you is that done is gonna be true. Let's see here. Let's do this. First item, done value, according to the protocol. You know what? I'm gonna console log the here first item dot, yeah, I'll do this first item dot done. Again, this is not the cat I want to show here. This should pass. Why is this not passing? Iterator next, iterator next. Let's try this again. You know what? Let's do this. Alert first item dot done. Interesting. I can't alert in here maybe. Anyways, the point is, as you go through them, you iterate. Let me go back to what it was. As you iterate through them, it's going to be false all the time until you get the last item, and then it should be true, the done. And in fact, I'm saying all this, and then there's a test in the next one that shows this. So read ahead. Okay, the after last, and it's not once you get the last element, it's once you try to get an element after you've gotten the last element. Let's see here. This is an empty array. We're getting the iterator, and then we're going to say, I want to get iterator next. It's a function, and there's no value. Okay, that's interesting. I guess, so void 0, if you aren't aware, is actually the same as undefined. Now, this is something transpilers would do when it was still building for ES5, because there was some browsers that the undefined keyword, it could get messed up, or you could actually override it, I believe. You could say undefined is equal to something else. I don't think you can do that anymore, but that's why they have void 0 in here. And when we run this, it's going to pass. Did I do this? That one's good. Oh, yeah. I do const. I think I messed up the other one when I undid things. Okay, yeah, we're all good. And you know what? It is 11 o'clock on the dot. I think what we're going to do at this point is we're going to call it a day. I hope you folks had some fun here, maybe learn a thing or two. Thanks for all the folks in the chat giving some tips and stuff too. And we will be back next week. I stream on Tuesdays learning Rust. You can check the schedule if you go to, let me drop that here. I should add this to my stream deck. Livecoding.ca schedule. Yeah, you can check that out. Tuesdays I stream Rust. Wednesdays I'm doing the dev stream on the Practical Dev Twitch. And then on Thursdays we're doing the JavaScript hours. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next week.